Righty-ho, welcome to the XLR brunch time, and you are fortunate to we are fortunate to have another guest on the show. We have Liam from the Winachi tribe.
From the Winachi tribe, mate. That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, Winachi tribe. How are you, Liam? Nice to have you on the XLR brunch time show with me, Danny's son.
How am I doing? Yeah, I'm really good, mate.
Yeah,
Absolutely buzzing here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for taking the time out to talk to us. I know you've been really busy. I've been following your progress on your
uh-huh,
social media. You're doing a tour at the
yeah.
moment. So from the top, tell our listeners what is the Wanachi tribe. Where did the name come from, and what styles of music do you like to do?
Say that again, sorry, mate.
Yeah. Um, what type of styles does your band like to do? I know you do a lot of electro pop funk.
Mm-hmm.
And the name Winachi, what inspired that as well?
I'll start with the name.
Okay,
Um, Now, there was a previous band to the Winachi tribe a long, long time ago called China White. Now, there's different incarnations of China White. So we went through different lineups. We were learning our trade. We were learning our instrumentation. We were getting our show slick so people could come down and get a really nice show. And we were doing good as China White. But the problem with China White was the drug incarnation with the name. So in America, China White is slang for heroin.
well,
Now,
I didn't know that.
well, neither did we when we took
And also,
it.
there's a China Whites in London. That was a nightclub as well. Could that be
There was a
related?
number of things. Yeah,
Ah,
there was the China Whites in London, which gave us a copyright problem. There's also a 70s punk band from California who were called China White,
sure.
which they weren't very happy about. On top of that, our management is we in 2015 we secured management in Los Angeles.
Mm,
So he's actually the guy that manages is English. He's from the East End, but he's lived in LA for about 20 years. And how he said to us, he went, look, he said, listen, lads, I think you're a brilliant band. I'm willing to do a lot of work for you, but there's only so much work I can do for you if your name's after Smack. So you've got to change your name.
sure.
So we changed the name, and the Wenatchee is an anagram of China White. That's the
Very,
history.
very clever, Liam. That is very clever. Ah,
But there's a very rock and roll story that goes with this. We the last China White gig, we were opening for Ringo Starr's son in London, Zach Starkey.
wow.
Yeah, wow, and it was like, okay, this is pretty cool. So we had this chat on the tour bus going up to the gig. I said, I tell you what, this will go down in rock and roll history. We're going to go on. We're going to tell journalists. And it's the truth. We're going to tell journalists and press and radio, whoever asks us. That night, we went on stage supporting Ringo's son as China White, but we came off as the Winachi tribe, and that's the truth.
So we've established your name, and what type of music do you incorporate or cover or play?
Um, God, that's $1 million question, that, isn't it? Really?
I'll tell you
That's the
where
one question
yeah,
That's the one question I hate getting.
yeah, it's quite
It's one
generic, isn't it?
question.
Yeah, I tell
No,
you,
yeah, it's not just that. It's not just that. It's just really hard to answer because I don't really know.
hmm,
So it's like I would love to be able to give you a straight answer of what sort of music I'm trying to make, but it's really, really hard. I mean, our influences. I could tell you what. I mean, we're influenced by. I could speak for myself. Not everyone in the band.
hmm,
I can speak for myself. George Clinton is a huge, huge influence on everything that I do musically.
sure.
I always look at George. Not so much Parliament Funkadelic. It's more George and the way he produced those records and the way he sort of approached producing those records. I try getting into his head. And Sly Stone is a big
Hmm.
influence. Tricky, Massive Attack. And then you've got bands like one of my favourite bands of all time is the Happy Mondays.
Mm.
So,
So
that gives you a sort of idea.
you got a bit of a mixture of acid house, trip hop, and a bit of others, funk maybe.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, old school hip hop. Like, my favourite MC is Melly Mel, Grandmaster Flash, and the Furious Five. I love De La Soul as well. So yeah, there's a big mishmash. But we like rock music. I'm into the early Guns N' Roses,
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin. So it's a real melting pot. And I always say, a band can be only as good as their record collection, and I've got one top record collection. Hence why we're really good.
Well, that's it. You got to have the ambition and the drive. It seems like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I tell you where I first heard your track. I was in Spain on the terrace and playing out. The radio DJ described you as an electro funk band, and the title of the song was Transition. And
Okay.
and I thought it was such a great song. Tell us more about Transition.
Transition is our new single that we're promoting at the moment. It was a very quick song to write, actually. It was one of those ones where I can remember being in the shower, and while I was in the shower, I just heard this. It's funny how where music comes from. I was in the shower, having a wash, as you do, and I just heard digga 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 digga. It's a transitional, and then that come in.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, okay, we've got a song here. Quickly jumped out the shower, start bollock naked, been dripping everywhere, and I had to write that down. Sorry for saying that online, but got all that down, and that's how that was born. I went into the studio. So that day, I sat down with my bass guitar, and I wrote the whole song on a bass. And I went into our studio at night with Anthony, our keyboardist and a programmer. I said, I've got this. I need you to program it up for me. I played it for him on a bass, and then he programmed it on a synth. And then I went away and I wrote the words. Within 2 weeks, it was finished.
Wow! And that's all released. That's on iTunes, Apple, Spotify. Is it? Can people grab a copy if they like to listen to it?
That's released through Mancunia Records. There's a new label in Manchester called Mancunia Records, which it's run by my friend Anton Pell. There's a number of bands on it, and we're trying to set up the next Factory Records.
Wonderful. Basically,
we've got our own bass, our own studios, our own rehearsal rooms in Manchester. So, yeah, it's got through we're the first released MR1 through Mancunia Records, and you can get it on all your Spotify, Beatport, iTunes, etc. We have a limited edition CDs and T-shirts, which we're selling at all the gigs throughout the tour. And we're also going to be pressing vinyl midway through the tour, a very, very limited edition run, which is going to have a B-side exclusive to the vinyl, which you can only get if you buy the vinyl record.
Very positive. So great things to be expected from your band. Keeping the Manchester music scene alive as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, doing it without really thinking about it, if I'm honest, because Manchester, the Manchester music scene will always be alive. Mm-hmm. It's always going to be there. You know what I mean? We're not from Manchester. We're from Warrington. We're from outside. We're more Scousers than Manx than anything.
You're halfway.
We're halfway, yeah. So I can't claim any city, which is nice because what it does, it separates us from the other bands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love Manchester because Manchester's been good. Manchester's given love to us, so I've got nothing but love for Manchester. Do you know what I mean? I love Liverpool because that's where my family's from. Do you know what I mean? My roots are there, so I've got loads of love, man. I don't think of this band as a city band. We're not from this place or from that place. Sure. We're a band of the world. We've been over to America. We've been all over the place, and I just really want people to get onto our music and to turn them on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, lovely. So you're on tour at the moment. I know you've been very busy. Yeah. And so where are you touring? And introduce us to the members of the band, what the names are and what they do.
Right. So I'm Liam Croker. I'm the lead singer, also the lyricist and lead songwriter. You've got Anthony Edgerton, who is a keyboardist and programmer. Me and Anthony also are sort of the producers of the band. You've got Indy Goldfinger, percussionist extraordinaire. Sammy T on drums, Richie Rich on bass, and Mickey B on guitar.
Wonderful. And you're touring quite extensively around the country, aren't you?
Yeah, do you know what, mate? Let me just have a look at my tour poster so I can remind myself.
We've just done a number of shows. So this Saturday we headline the introducing stage at Beardy 30 Festival. The 29th of May, we're at the Social in Doncaster.
The Social Doncaster.
2nd of June, we headline the introducing stage at Mozfest in Sheffield.
Sheffield, yeah.
The 8th of June, we are doing a clothing launch at Carnaby Street in London for a brand new Italian designer clothing make. And It's going to be at the Pro Direct Sports Store just off Carnaby Street in London.
I know that one. I've been past there a few times.
Yeah, well, we'll be in there. If you want to come down, it's free. We're going to be doing a full set in store that day.
Great stuff. Right then, Liam. Thanks for taking the time out to talk to us. Got to know about a band a little bit more. And can you tell the listeners where they can follow you and your links to your Twitter, websites, etc.?
Yes. So Facebook is Facebook
Yep.
/ the Winachi Tribe. Twitter is at Winachi Tribe. Instagram is at Winachi Tribe.
Great stuff. And I wanted to ask, can we play your new song Transmission live on XLR Radio?
Yeah, you can play Transition live. Yeah, of course you can.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time out to speak to me. Much appreciated. And
No problem.
very, very good luck with your music and keep the dream alive.
Yeah, of course. All right, thank you.
Thanks so much.
It's been a pleasure.
This is the Winachi Tribe Transition. Thank you.